Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article. It's from the New Hampshire Union Leader, which is in my neck of the woods. I'm from New Hampshire. I saw this and I felt that I wanted to do a video on it. I mean, even though it's a city in New Hampshire, I just felt that this was something that just needed a little bit broader attention because of how the aldermen and city council in Nashua are trying to frame this situation and how they're treating it. Because basically, they say you're going to wear a mask, and they don't have any, penalties or anything like that defined. And they're just like, well, we're going to fine you up to $1,000. It's up to, basically, you're at their will. They're saying you will bow down and do what we say. And the funny thing is see, the border towns with Massachusetts, you have these people that have decided that they want to live in New Hampshire, and they work in Massachusetts. They started out in Mass, a typical Masshole. They move here. They shift the political, compass from, more conservative, libertarian, independent over towards the Democrat left side. Well, that's what happens with Nashua here. Now, a town nearby Nashua wanted to enact a similar mask situation. And they were, I think, going to fine up to $3,000 or something like that. Salem. Now, one's a town, one's a city. And the way towns work, you have selectmen, and the people get to say yay or nay. It's because they couldn't do that because of the current pandemic situation. They had people call in. And the people were like, no. Fuck you. We don't want this. So Salem, it failed. But because Nashua is a city, has a city council, aldermen, etc., so on and so forth, this is what you end up with. Power tripping people. And then they try to frame it a certain way. So when people say, I'm not going to comply, they're automatically just this one particular group that just should be dismissed, which just so happens to be the whole right side of the political spectrum with how this person put it, this alderman. I believe it was an alderman. But we'll see again once we go. I'll see again and point it out once we get into the article here. Anyway, Nashua approves face mask mandate. Defiant could face fines up to $1,000. Yeah, this is like authoritarianism. This is tyranny. We're not going to lay out things, on like a definite fines thing, first offense, whatever. No, we're just going to arbitrarily have it so that it can be decided, you might pay $5 or you could pay $1,000. Fuck you. These people, these aldermen are assholes. Face masks will now be required when customers visit stores, restaurants, and other businesses establishments in Nashua. Now, this is what's funny. You get into the restaurant, you sit at the table, you can take your mask off, which completely defeats the fucking purpose. These people aren't bright. I mean, you get in further in the article here, and literally, that's what they say. Oh, you don't have to wear them at the table, which would make sense, because if you're sitting at a table, how the hell are you supposed to eat wearing a face mask? But it defeats the whole purpose of what they're doing. Anyway. With a vote of 10-3, the Nashua Board of Aldermen approved the mandate on Thursday night that the city's Board of Health recently recommended the action to reduce the spread of Wu flu. If we don't back up our Board of Health, my God, what do we even have them? Why do we even have them? Let us show them support, said Alderman Rich Dowd. Now, excuse me, this is the thing. New Hampshire's starting to go, fuck you. All right? And I honestly think that this is part of the fact of, with the mask, this is part of the fact that, of them wanting them, is cases are going down, all right? New Hampshire, even though Massholes are what, caused a lot of the spread, crossing over to get, 5% less of, not having that 5% sales tax. Yeah, basically, we have to suffer because of a bunch of massholes, and Lowell, I believe, has a mask mandate, and they border Nashua, all right? All the towns that border, the border towns, like with Salem, with New Hampshire, like Salem and Nashua, Plastow, and they go up along the seacoast, and then you got Portsmouth up in Maine, all these towns and cities along the borders, okay? Massachusetts, pretty much every town and city that borders New Hampshire, they all have mask mandates. So now we're going to have mask mandates. We got to stop the spread. The spread isn't really that. We're not having a massive spread of this stuff going on in New Hampshire at this point. What we had was thanks of Massholes. I mean, this is ridiculous. Although the newly adopted city ordinance does not state a specific fine, the city's attorney said that in general violation of a city ordinance carries a maximum fine up to $1,000 unless stated otherwise. That fine is determined by the court, explained Steve Bolton, corporation counsel for the city. You know, what's funny is, all right, like I said, with because you get all the different border towns, like Plastow doesn't have face masks from what I understand. Salem, I saw with the news and stuff like that locally what happened there. Then you have, Nashua doing this. And the thing is you don't see massive increases in numbers in Plastow or Salem. And the thing is all these towns and cities on the Mass border, they're major commercial areas because of the fact of we're a tax-free state. We do not have a sales tax. So yeah, that should kind of give you a clue that maybe this might not be necessary. Anyway. This is funny. Oh, well, it'll be up to the court. You're going to be in limbo. You might have to fork $1,000 out. Anyway, some aldermen, including Ben Clemens, were pushing for an initial warning upon a first offense, followed by a $25 fine for a second or subsequent offense. However, these recommendations were not supported. Well, of course not, because you want to know why? This is about authoritarianism. Because $1,000 and the fact that you could be fined $1,000, all right? That's about putting the fear into someone. That's about telling them what they're going to do. $25? Hell, I would take the trek to go to Nashua, and I would walk around there. All right, and I would not wear a mask. I'd rack up multiple offenses, and I would just be like, "Oh, the first one's free, okay? Oh, you're gonna catch me again. Here's $25 now." Just, yeah, this is ridiculous. Oh God. I can see Nashua becoming a target of right-wing folk who want to demonstrate that they believe this is unconstitutional, said Clemens, adding he was disappointed that aldermen could not find common ground on a lower fine that focuses more on education and less on punishment, because this is not about education, okay? This isn't because, technically it is, but not how he intends it. This is about education through forced indoctrination. This is about putting fear in people. And this idea that it's right-wing folk, okay, to a lot of people, okay, it does not matter, okay, regardless of the false left-right paradigm. It doesn't matter where they fall on the spectrum, okay? They believe our state motto, live free or die, is more than just words on a fucking license plate. We live by it. So don't try to frame. This is what I was talking about, framing it and trying to blame it. They're gonna try to say, oh, it's just right-wing people that are protesting in Nashua. No, it'll be more than right-wing people. All right, because New Hampshire has a lot of free staters. Pork Fest is a big thing with the free staters and libertarians and stuff like that. Not the type of libertarian I would associate with. No offense to them, but. Yeah, so you're going to have more than just right-wingers there. I hate to break it to you. They just want to try to frame it that way because that's how they've been trying to frame Michigan. It's not going to work. New Hampshire is, we've got this Masshole shift towards the left, but a lot of people in the state are independent-minded and libertarian believing, and you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. They're not going to put up with this shit. Clemens said he fears that Nashua will now become a target and individuals will be rallying outside of City Hall with their firearms to stand up for their beliefs and causes. Oh no, someone will be exercising their constitutionally defined rights that are inalienable, that shall not be infringed by the government? Okay. You have a problem with that. They have the right to do that. But as we are trying to pass things that make Nashua a friendly place to do business and friendly place to come downtown, if we have people like that protesting outside of City Hall every day, it's not exactly the place that I want to go with my family, and I might think otherwise to come to Nashua, he said. Well then, you know what? Maybe you should take a page out of Salem's book and not push this shit. Because people, if they want to wear masks, will fucking wear masks. That's what basically, the residents of Salem said. But then, from what I understand, the Board of Health guy decided to get a bug up his ass because the town said, fuck you. So he said, well, I can go and I can make restaurants' lives a living hell. And he went in and I guess basically said, you're all going to wear masks. With delivery drivers that say like a pizza shop or something, they all have to wear masks the whole time they're out, supposedly. Yeah, and he's like, it's like $300 or $1,000 fine or some shit. So, I mean, yeah, that guy decided to be a bit of an authoritarian because the town told Salem to go fuck themselves with the selectman. Oh, the selectman that was pushing this shit. It must be Buddy or something. But, yeah, take a page out of Salem's book with the people and not do this, and then Nashua will be a friendly place. If someone wants to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. You're talking about being outside. And the idea of we can't have dining in a restaurant. It has to be outdoor dining. All these restaurants are setting up, like the idea of makeshift patios. So I don't understand this, but whatever. I think we might actually have indoor. No. I believe it's just outdoor still. We're not up to the point of indoor, but yeah. And if you don't want, it's all about perception. Do you want to be a free society or do you want to have security theater? Can't have both. We can't give in to the possibility of threats, said Alderwoman Patricia Klee, whether the fine is up to $1,000 or $25. Klee said the city will likely still receive some type of reaction from those opposed. Oh my God, the possibility of threats. Look they're already trying to frame this like it's going to be these extremist right-wingers and they're threatening people and da-da-da-da-da. They're trying to pull the Michigan fucking, Whitmer narrative. Like the Democrat narrative there that the people in the Democrats in the legislature and her trying to push with like threats and all this other fucking bullshit that they're pushing that's easily debunked. They're already trying to lay that narrative out. And what gets me is the union leader is supposed to be a conservative news outlet, a newspaper. And here they are just letting this shit be pushed. Letting them push this bullshit fucking narrative. Usually, they point this out and then they would say, well, there hasn't been anything like that going on in Michigan, even though they're pushing this or whatever. They would at least point that out. Aldermen said they received numerous emails from citizens about the mask mandate, with about half of those in favor and half of them in opposition. I'm guessing it was probably more the other way. They're just trying to paint it like, well, it's split down the middle. We were the deciding factor. Several city officials said that because Nashua is a border city, it must be extra vigilant because of a high number of cases in Massachusetts. Yeah, and we still have all the Massholes crossing over the border for fucking tax-free shopping. And guess what? Our numbers, they leveled off in those communities along the fucking border. So it shouldn't be an issue. You should know that, being an alderman in Nashua. Just saying. The employees have to wear masks, and this is because it will protect us. And I think that in order to protect the employees, we need to legislate that people who come into shops need to wear masks as well. For the employees' protection, said Alderwoman Elizabeth Liu. Well, here's the thing. It's not your place, you stupid bitch, to legislate what people do in someone else's business that you do not own. If the owner of said business wants to say no mask, no service, that is up to them. It is not up to you. I'm assuming, you Democrat, sleazy piece of shit bitch, all right, that it's not up to you to decide that. If the business wants to do it, hell, I did I was going to do a video on, like, with the malls opening up. I did talk about it in a couple of my videos, like shopping in malls and stuff like that, okay? like some of the malls, like the Rockingham Park Mall, the one in Nashua, one in Portsmouth. What's the name of it? Anyway, but the malls, the Manchester Mall, in Manchester, New Hampshire, but basically all the malls that opened up, shops, some of them said, "Hey, you wear a mask. You know, you want to come in, you got to wear a mask." You have no right to dictate what goes on in someone else's business like that. They have the right to decide what goes on in their business, not you. The idea is to encourage voluntary compliance, Bolton said, stressing that coercive element is not only going to play that stressing the coercive element is not going to play a large role. I'm sorry, I knew I was going to break out laughing with that. That's why I stumbled there, because I actually started to. That's complete horseshit. You're trying to encourage voluntary compliance through involuntary means, because $1,000, especially during the current situation, it is a lot of money for someone. Hell, even when it is this shit isn't going on, it's a major thing. Here you are. Oh, it's not coercive, and that won't be a big factor. Bullshit. That's what's going to piss off people. That's what's going to have them protesting. So how can you say it's not a big thing when that $1,000 factor, besides the mask, is going to get even more people out? That's going to be a factor for a lot of people, because they're going to be like, well, you know what? You're going to find me up to $1,000 if I just happen to not have a mask on? Fuck you. And they're going to go out there and they're going to protest that for that reason alone. Okay, just for the fact of, you want to take $1,000 out of my pocket because I'm not wearing a mask? Who the fuck do you think you are? And New Hampshire people are like that. New Englanders, okay, people from New Hampshire, I think a little more particularly, but New England in general, a lot of us, on a matter of principle, we will cut off our noses to spite our face, if it's a matter of principle. So if it means taking $1,000 hit to say, fuck you, and get this in front of a judge, there are going to be people willing to do it. Because of that coercive bullshit. Because you're trying to use this type of authoritarian force, using monetary means to try to force someone to do something. He said the punishment is a violation with a possible fine left to the discretion of the court, explaining no one is going to be arrested for failing to wear a mask unless the situation escalates and it potentially becomes disruptive. So people are going to get arrested if they're not wearing their masks. So basically, if they say, fuck you, I'm not going to do it, they're going to get arrested. So it's either you fucking comply or you're going to get arrested. That's what they're saying with that. There's no other way to frame that. Because if it escalates, so you either bow down and you get on your knees and you do what you're fucking told, or you're going to get arrested. That's what this is saying here. This is why I wanted to cover this. Because this is complete and total authoritarian bullshit. Right there, they're telling you, you will comply or you will be arrested. Because escalating and saying, no, I will not comply, is escalation. They say if you escalate, arrested. Simple math. Police Chief Mike Carignan agreed, saying recently that the primary focus should be on educating the public about the importance of wearing face masks. People know why they should be wearing face masks. They don't need to keep hearing it. You're literally sounding like a broken fucking record. Okay, wear your face masks. It's for your health. Wear your face masks. It's for your health. Wear your face masks. It's for your health. That's what you're literally doing. Even more depth than that. And people have heard it enough. They just don't give a shit. No matter how much you try to tell someone something, it's up to them to decide to do it. You're not going to educate them into doing it. It doesn't work like that. Especially when they already know what the fuck is what. They aren't stupid. The new ordinance does not require children under 10 to wear a face covering and states that parents should make their own judgment. Although masks must be worn while entering restaurants, they may be removed once diners sit down at a table. Yeah, exactly. So, what's the point? You're either supposed to wear the mask the whole fucking time in the restaurant, or you don't, because wearing it in the restaurant till you sit down at the table, the second you take it off, it's no different than if you didn't fucking wear it in. This is what I was saying. I mean, this defeats the whole purpose. In addition, a face covering is not required for anyone who can show that a medical professional has advised that wearing a face covering may pose a risk because of a health reason. Oh, slight problem. Guess what? Federal law says that you cannot ask for proof. If they say I'm covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you can't fucking touch them. You cannot demand their medical proof for something like this. Like you're talking about, like, show me your papers? I mean, Gestapo fucking tactics here. They can be like, fuck you. And there's nothing you can do. And then when it goes to court and they just happen to show that as evidence, you're going to get royally fucked. So go for it. Start arresting people who go fuck you when you're having your jackbooted Nashua police officers, detaining them and ending up arresting them or whatever because they won't show their papers. Yeah, that'll go over real fucking well. I mean, I expect to see this shit in Michigan. I don't expect to see it in my own backyard where I live in New Hampshire. That's why I wanted to cover this, because I want to show Michigan ain't the only place where you get this stupid shit going on. You got local governments thinking that they're fucking, hot shit like her. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.